if I can go home and I can put alcohol in my brownies and put alcohol in my cake, I don't know. I should be able to put THC in there too. Why not?
Like a good one. Cake. No, like a rum cake. I was just thinking of Josh, going home, making box brownies and dumping some, Hennessy in it or something. How do you spell donut? No, seriously, how do you spell donut?
It's been so long since I've been in college. But I remember. I know, Alex. Okay. I'm Josh Duke.
And I'm Alex Darus.
And you're either listening to or watching Dine Drink CLE, the podcast, where we are going to be joined by cleveland.com's best and brightest food experts, insiders, and influencers talking all things food here in Cleveland.
Yeah, today we have a few fun topics to talk about. With the recent legalization of recreational marijuana, we kind of want to talk about how could that impact the food and drinking culture of Cleveland. We're going to talk changes at the West Side Market, which is very exciting things coming up, and donuts. We're going to argue about donuts. So lots to stay tuned for. So yeah, I guess to get started, let's talk about this marijuana law that just passed. We have Paris Wolfe here with us.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk about, Ohio voters voted to pass the legalization of recreational marijuana. It goes into effect December 7th, but there could be some changes, who knows what's going to happen, but it does make it very interesting how it could affect the edible part of it, because not everybody just smokes marijuana. There's a whole eating side of it too, so, kind of interesting. What do you think, Paris?
I think that, I did talk to the Ohio Restaurant Association, and they said that they haven't come up with any policies yet, but they expect to have their members talk to them about what they want to do when it comes to edibles and drinkables within their establishments.
Yeah, so does it sound like it could be possible that there's a bar that, obviously, again, we don't know with the laws, but a bar you could go to and instead of drinking alcohol, you drink something that has marijuana in it?
There are beverages, spirits in other states that have the law approved that are infused with THC. So that could be a big possibility in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as we're in this really murky space right now where we don't know what's about to happen with this law, what's about to happen with the actual regulations, how it's going to shake out, it's very much up in the air. What is it going to look like, worst case scenario right now? Because I think what do the Republicans on the side of things for marijuana want? They want to limit the amount of THC.
Yeah, so the voters passed the whole law that they wanted, and now the Republican senators are trying to tweak it a little bit. The big one that would definitely affect the food part of it is home growing. They don't want you to be able to grow marijuana plants at home, which if you do grow at home, again, not everybody smokes it. You can turn it into baked goods or whatever. You can cook with it. That would totally open up if you are allowed to grow at home, an at-home bakery business, depending on the legislation with that. But if not, if these changes end up passing, then that's totally going to impact a lot. They also want to put regulations on the levels of THC, which who knows how that's going to go, because a lot of these products I know are manufactured on a national level. They're not made in Ohio, so they can't really make, it's just very interesting. So we'll see when they vote on that. But as of now, it's kind of the world is the oyster for the marijuana and food topic. So it seems like a fun thing to just think about.
Yeah, we live in a world right now where you can go to the store, you can buy alcohol easily, you can go to a restaurant and be served alcohol or an alcohol infused item with a a liquor license. So for me, being in Cleveland, Ohio, I've never been in an existence where it's the same could be true for marijuana, where you could go to a bakery and potentially get a THC infused edible or drink or anything like that.
The interesting middle, which I think me and Paris know about just from reporting, is the kava bars and kratom, because you can go to technically that you don't need a special license to sell kava or kratom, but people say they have these effects on you, but you can get a drink to go and drive. Not that I'm saying you.
And there's no regulation, and they're plants from the South Pacific that have physical effects on your both your mental and your physical.
Yeah,
abilities.
I know the kratom specifically, it targets the opioid receptors of your brain, so people say it could have pain relief. Again, a lot of the kava bars are pretty good with the dosages. Like, you kind of know how much it's not like you're going into like a gas station and buying kratom like that. But it is just interesting because it's like, we don't have any regulations for this. Like you said, with alcohol, you can go into you can go into a gas station and buy alcohol and stuff, but then it's just interesting how with marijuana, it's all this just stigmas with it and stuff.
Yeah, and, go ahead.
I was just saying, what about being able to just go across the border of another state and bring it back? I mean, and the tax situation there is going to be lower than ours if the Republicans get their way. So why wouldn't people just go to Michigan?
Well, that's why I'm very skeptical, I guess, about these changes. Because, I mean, like, that's like I was reporting in Massachusetts for a while. Like, it's very, very regulated, but there's some things. It's like these marijuana companies have been in business for a while. They know what they're doing, and they're going to tell if these changes don't make sense with their business model, it's not even going to be worth it, you know? Like,
That's true.
Yeah, and one thing though, like as I'm trying to compare it, because it feels like voters want it to be treated like alcohol, which is kind of like what the vote kind of essentially said at its basic point. But I do think like maybe there's some room for discussion because of like one difference between alcohol and marijuana is that I guess there's maybe a smell, and so like maybe that comes through with, like edibles. I don't know. I don't have.
Well, I know also just from being in Massachusetts too with edibles, there is a smell. Like you can make it with the flour and turn it in, but there's also they sell these products called tinctures, and it's totally scentless, and you can literally it's like in a dropper bottle and put it in whatever you want. You could put it in mac and cheese, you could put it in cookies, you could put it in a drink, whatever, and there's no smell to it and stuff. So it's like, I think it's going to be very interesting. I think especially from if someone is a baker in Cleveland who's interested in going that route, I think it's very lucrative and would make a lot of sense, especially like think of it like from a foodie standpoint, you're not just going to want to eat a pop brownie just because there's I mean, I feel like it's a whole experience with it. You know, you want it to taste
an experience
good.
for sure.
Well,
There
yeah.
are people who just,
Well, no, it's but from a foodie perspective.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if you
yeah.
look at it like that, like you want. I mean, think about it. I know, which I watch like stupid shows like The Real Housewives and stuff, but they just had a dinner on there where it was a full 3-course THC infused meal from appetizer, entree to dessert. And it's like, what if a fine dining restaurant could do that here?
Yeah, that would be insane. I think there's clearly a big niche for that. I mean, like obviously a lot of people have always smoked marijuana, pot or whatever. So like plenty of people eat edibles legally or not. And so there's going to be a lot of business reasons to like get that going. And I can just imagine like just being at a restaurant and someone just like getting baked.
Yeah.
Someone just getting baked right at the other table. Like, oh yeah, they order the special like.
But think about it. People get wasted all the time. Like,
Yeah, true. It's
like,
exactly.
It's so ingrained in us.
Exactly.
I feel like
there's no surprise or no like. No one bats their eye when someone walks out of a restaurant like kind of
stumbling.
Just done because they've just had one too many cocktails, one too many drinks. Like. I want that to be the same for marijuana.
I mean, it would just make sense. That's what the voters voted for.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. What do you think? Like, do you like culturally? Like, what does that look like in other places where it is legal right now? Like, what does that look like? Are there like, can I go in a place where it's legalized recreational marijuana and just like go to a restaurant and there's a menu item that is laced with
You're going to
THC.
see a couple of things.
it depends state by state for sure.
Demographic, you're going to see maybe a younger population who sees less stigma in it. And also the people who are smoking it, I know of one restaurant in our area that was trying to keep people out because they smell too strongly of the smoking
Interesting.
marijuana.
Would they do it with cigarettes?
That's a good
I was
question.
just wondering. Yeah. But I think also with the other states, like I know in Massachusetts, it's very, very like regulated. The whole state, everything there is very regulated. So it's not as much of a thing to be able to go into a bar like that. It's mostly at the dispensaries. But I did see like when I was in Las Vegas, they were advertising like a lounge, like a marijuana lounge where you could go and Like, so I think it depends on the state. I think with Ohio, we could probably look at a lot at what Michigan's been doing. I feel like in general, that's probably a closer state than Colorado or California to what we'll do. But I mean, I also know it takes a while. Like in Massachusetts, I forget, but it was at least after the law was passed a year or two until the first dispensary came. So who even knows when we're going to see the first legal marijuana recreational dispensary in Cleveland? It could not be maybe till 2025. Be like,
Right.
there's a long way to go, but
Yeah.
but tomorrow, December 7th, it's officially legal. So we'll see if people start getting
Crossing the border.
yeah or something. Like,
Yeah, I know there's going to be some cool opportunity for some business out there to make a niche out of this. That's kind of exciting a little bit. Well, I
Yeah.
hope. Well, I kind of hope. I'm not going to lie. Like,
well,
I hope
like
that
you said,
that's-
people do it anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, it's safer if it's regulated. It's safer if you're buying it from a store, not off the street. Like,
Yeah.
way safer. So,
Yeah.
just makes a lot of sense that it would be.
Yeah.
different
if
ways.
I can go home and I can put alcohol in my brownies and put alcohol in my
sounds
cake,
disgusting.
I don't know. I should be able to put THC in there too. Why
No,
not?
like a good
Why
one.
not a rum cake?
No, like a rum cake. I was
Yeah,
just thinking of
but
Josh,
not
like
enough.
going home,
Not
making
enough
box
rum.
brownies and dumping some like Hennessy in it or something.
I mean, plenty of people do it. Go at it. Go,
No,
if
they
you
do.
want alcohol infused popcorn,
No.
brownies,
Bourbon
cookies.
balls, like that's
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Let's welcome in the THC the community.
The
Let's-
voters did.
go
The
for it.
voters did. So yeah, definitely lots to keep up to date with on the marijuana and food part. I know me and Paris will probably be very busy reporting on that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun to watch. So.
Yeah. I'm sure we're gonna have you guys covered every step of the way with that because it's definitely something to watch. But in terms of like things that are up in the air, I know that there's kind of a lot of moving and shaking going on in the West Side market. So what's going on over there?
Well, they've been working on a master plan to make a lot of changes to the market. And recently they were allocated $10 million by City Council. And now they're moving forward with the Cleveland Public Market Corporation, which is a nonprofit that is going to be managing the market instead of the city, which is going to make change happen faster. And they just hired an executive director who is going to be taking over January 3rd. And then they are introducing 6 new positions who can help manage the market.
And this is the first time that it's not really the city doing it, right? Like
Right,
it is a
right.
different
In the
entity doing
past-
it. Yeah.
In the past, the market, it's been under the management of the utilities department, and the utilities department has a lot of things that come
Think
in
of
front
how
the
busy
market.
they are in
They have,
Cleveland.
yeah. I mean, snow plowing, garbage, all that comes first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. So, like, historically, does it feel like the West Side market has constantly had a call to, like, change and, like, revitalization? Or is this, like,
It's
kind
been
of
going on for a long time, asking for solutions. And the thing is, a lot of things have deteriorated over the years. Like this summer, they had all four freight elevators down.
Yep.
Before that, they only had one elevator working. So there's just been a lot of neglect.
Well, and it's such an asset to the city, like compared to other cities don't have a West Side market like all the time, especially one that's that old. So it would just make sense to nurture it a lot, you know?
It brings in a lot of tourism. I think it brings in between 800,000 and 1 million people
Yeah.
passing through each year.
Yeah, and I know with the master plan, they're kind of planning on amping that up a little bit with like more food stalls and
Food courts
Yeah.
where people can eat in, event space.
the event space is
programming.
the smartest. I literally have always said walking in the West Side Market, I'm like, someone needs to get married up there. Like it would be a beautiful
right.
wedding.
And,
And now
that's the kind
it's
of thing
like,
they're going to put in. The master plan calls for putting in some kitchens, some commercial kitchen space.
Oh, that's
that would be able
awesome.
to cater the events,
yeah.
and they'd also be able to do educational programming for people who need to learn how to cook, as all the way up to people who already
Me.
do know how.
I need to learn.
No,
I'll
but
be
that,
there.
oh my God, that would be so fun to do a cooking class
I
at the West
know.
Side
Go
Market.
shopping downstairs and then just come upstairs into the cooking space and create something from it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's awesome. Like, who knows how long? Obviously, it's so much in the master plan. How much did they say it's estimated to cost?
I think it's between 40 and 45 million is what they're looking
Wow.
at.
Yeah. But think
So
of the
that's
building.
the point is they have a job that's the director of development, that in the nonprofit management group, they're going to be able to raise funds, which the city couldn't raise funds from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't raise funds from
Like
various
grants and
foundations
stuff.
and
Yeah.
grants, but now that they're nonprofit managed, they can.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome. It sounds like this is going to be like a very decisive, different approach to like revitalizing the West Side Market than we've seen in years.
Well, it's a
past.
holistic
It is.
approach
Yeah.
for
It is,
sure.
and it's been done in other markets in other parts of the country. So it's not an untried model. It's been a successful model for other cities.
What do
Yeah.
you think? What do you think that we're like sort of striving for? Is there another example that in the country or the world, I don't know, that we should kind of sort of be aiming for with this plan? It kind of feels
Are
like.
there any that they cited that were
Yeah.
of note?
We looked at, when they were doing some presentations on the market, they looked at places like Findlay Market in Southern Ohio. We talked about, a number of markets. But I think the West Side Market is unique, and it can pull from
Totally.
various models and come up with something that we're stronger at.
Because I think in other cities, it's you either kind of have the farmers market vibe that's not like a market that's a grocery
Right.
store, or you have it like where it's all food courts, and it's like it would
Right,
And the
like
West
it's a
Side Market
food
has
court.
always been both. You could always get a sausage sandwich there and get your groceries.
But it's a food court like in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And in Michigan, in Fort Wayne, there's a lot of vendors that sell non-food products. You see a lot of different kinds of models, and ours is very food oriented. And the surveys have shown people want more eat-in options because it's
Well, think of
limited
how
now.
hard it is to, even if you get a crepe there and you try to walk up and sit
There's
on the
nowhere to
ledge,
eat
you
it.
know you can't
There's
eat
nowhere to eat it.
anywhere. That's why you end up, the restaurant there is like one of my favorites, but it's like you don't always want to sit and eat at the restaurant. You
And
want to
can't
get some.
always get a seat.
Well, that too,
it's
yeah.
not that big.
Yeah, so the West Side Market is like over 100 years old now at this point, right?
It's 110.
111.
Yeah.
Right. So, in terms of like thinking about like modernizing some of the services and like the space itself, I think right now we're kind of moving in a space where a lot of us want to get delivered food to our houses. I think that is just like a trend that we're experiencing. I wonder if like that's on the radar, if they're trying to like implement that into their business.
I know
model.
some of the vendors will. Like I know Jim's Meats, which I just wrote about in our gift guide, foodie gift guide. They will do like basically. She lives in North Ridgeville from the West Side Market. If you live on a ride home, she'll give you free delivery pretty much. So I think a lot of the vendors will do that, but I wonder if they would do that on a larger
If they'd
model.
implement a DoorDash or, I haven't
Yeah,
heard
or
anything about that
Postmates
yet.
or
Yeah,
something.
because I mean that would help with like I know we talk about like food deserts, right? Like in the West Side Market, it's like in a specific area, so like to just make it more accessible to people. I don't know, like it would be great if you could get it delivered. I don't know, like
No,
I
I
don't want to
get it,
leave my
'cause-
house to
well,
for
also,
anything.
like, if you look at the
post
in-
2020,
If you look at the grocery delivery options now, you can't really get a lot of local at all. It's like
Yeah.
Walmart, Target, Meijer, but it's like sometimes I literally go to the West Side Market because it's the only place I can get certain things I'm looking for. So it would be kind of nice to have, not that I use grocery delivery that much, but it is nice like during the holidays when it's busy and you don't want to go downtown.
There's a business opportunity for someone.
Us.
yeah, let's do
He'll
it.
run a van.
Let's
Yeah.
quit now and let's go. Let's get this business going.
Sorry, guys.
What's my market
Podcast's
shopping?
over. Yeah. But I guess also, what do you think with this master plan? Are they going to be implementing it in phases?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like the
What's the
early
first
phase,
priority? Yeah.
One of the first priorities is to get the basement renovated.
That's what I figured.
Know. I was down there maybe 15 years ago, and I've heard it hasn't changed. And 15 years ago, it was a throwback to maybe the 50s. So it needs a lot of work. And then as they move on, some of the HVAC, because it gets hot in the summer and
Yeah.
chilly in the winter. It stays warm
It's
when there's
freezing
lots
in
of
there.
people. But
Yeah.
yeah, it can be pretty cold.
No, yeah, and that's probably a huge expense. But so yeah, the first phase would be more of the structural stuff.
Yeah,
And then the fun
structural things to maintain the facility.
So obviously it's going to come down to when they can get the money, but when do we think, do we think in a decade this will be done?
from the information I've seen, everything moves so slowly.
I know.
mean, every time there's a proposal to get some money, it takes 2 or 3 months for even to get through council.
Yeah.
Or longer. But I think I would say within the next 5 to 10 years.
That'd be awesome.
Depends on what happens with the political administration over time, too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get a nice, really rich donor who wants to see the
I know,
West Side
right?
Market.
Yeah.
Like, here's $20 million.
right.
Yeah, well, that sounds very exciting. As always, the West Side Market is one of the biggest food assets we have here in Cleveland. So always good to keep up to date and see what's going on there, especially it's the holidays. I know I did everyone likes to shop at the West Side Market during the holidays. It can be a little overwhelming too. I did a survival guide to how to navigate that and stuff. So there's a lot going on and a lot to be said about.
So, well, yeah, on that, how do you survive shopping at the West Side Market during the holiday?
You go early and you can call ahead. A lot of people don't know, like every single, especially if you need like 10 pounds of potatoes or something stupid, like call ahead and they will put them aside because they run out of stuff too. Especially with meats. I know people who at the market, like they ordered their Thanksgiving turkeys at the beginning of October just to like have it like reserved.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, especially if you want like
if you want something unusual, order it. You really, if you don't see it in the case, that doesn't mean you can't get it.
Oh no.
You can usually get it.
Especially like the prime ribs and stuff. They won't keep them all in the case. Like it's, it depends.
Right. An unusual cut. Yeah.
One of the bakers actually suggested that the last 2 hours of Eddie Brown's game on a Sunday empty. He's like, come in, there's
yes,
nobody there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ohio State Michigan game too.
Oh, that's a good,
I
yeah.
shopped that day.
All right, and so now we have Peter Chakerian here, and we are going to have a really fantastic conversation about donuts in Cleveland.
Well, Best of Team regularly polls the audience, our readership, to find out who loves what in town and just how much. And so the most recent ones covered chili and wings, and now we segued ourselves into donuts. Perfect food item for this time of year. We're all kind of adding our winter padding, as it were. So it feels like the right thing at the right time. And so we reached out to our readership and asked them if they would share their favorites with us. And they did so in massive order. We had, I think, well over 10,000 unique votes just to get us down to the 20 that we had boiled down to for official voting. So the nominations process alone was crazy.
How many, okay, if you got like 10,000 entries, like how many donut shops? It had to be a couple hundred.
Yeah, we were up close to 200 of them.
Wow. I didn't even know there were that many.
And that's across the readership footprint. So we're talking, greater Cleveland. So multi-county, lots and lots of places to choose from.
So who were the top three?
Well, so in third place, but in the first place, I think, of the hearts of many, Jack Frost Donuts.
Oh, I love them.
In Old Brooklyn. Awesome donut shop. Can't get enough of them. And their fans came out and really rallied and supported them. Place has been around for a very long time. They are, without doubt, one of the anchor places that people who live here go to, but also they're a bit of a tourist trap too. So
oh, for sure. No, people definitely like know of them who aren't from Cleveland for sure.
For sure.
So, and then you had number two.
So number two, Big Mouth Donuts. They're located in Rocky River, but they started off in Hingetown, right near where Beat Jar Juice Bar is. And COVID had its way with those folks, and unfortunately, they had to pivot. Like a lot of businesses had to pivot, but they ended up in Rocky River. Kind of better traffic flow, so they were able to sort of navigate through COVID really well, doing deliveries, but also, essentially like pickups. So the brewers, Kelly and Diana Brewer, own that shop, and their second place win is definitely justified.
Yeah.
Definitely warranted.
Yeah. And then you had that drum roll.
Yeah, drum roll. So the first place winner, and they have a great story too. Donut Land in Brunswick, and Amanda Reinerth is sort of third generation owner of that location, and her family started that with her grandfather, and that was handed down to her father, and she ultimately was going to be the one to take over the donut shop, but she lost her grandfather and her father in the span of just under 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And so that family, kind of was going through a lot of upheaval, and that was coming on the heels of COVID too.
Yeah.
When the Reinerts first decided they wanted to open a donut shop in Brunswick, a lot of residents said, "Don't bother. It's just not going to get supported." But the community has really supported them over the years, and obviously when they had that sort of 1-2, punch of loss for the family, the community really rallied and supported them, and to suddenly have them in a contest for donuts, best donuts, they came out and supported, and so it's definitely a more old school kind of feel for what they do. The donuts definitely feel like they're old school too, and when you walk into that shop, it feels like a shop that could be off the road of Route 66. It definitely has that checkerboard floor with red and the whole bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Are there any of your favorite donut places that you're sad to see weren't in the top 3?
Well, I saw one of them in the top 20.
Which one?
Brew Nuts.
Oh,
Brew
yeah.
Nuts in Gordon Square, I think. Yeah, I really, really enjoy Brew Nuts, and I thought they would have had a chance, and obviously if they landed in the top 20, then they did. But yeah, I love Brew Nuts. I think I love like a good specialty like donut.
A bougie donut.
Yeah, a bougie donut. Something that's just loaded with stuff that just makes you want to go like, let me take a photo, let me post.
Yeah.
I love that, and plus, like obviously it tastes really good. And another thing about brew nuts that I really love that it's kind of unique is that it's kind of like a bar too. So like there's cocktails that you can pair with your donuts. There's
No,
beer.
they have like watch parties for stuff. Like I watched a reality TV show finale there, like because a bunch of people they just had a watch party for it. It's like, okay, the donut shop.
Yeah, beer and donuts. Like who would ever thought? And I think right now they're having like a lot of like seasonal holiday items that just I cannot wait to try. Haven't had an opportunity to yet, but yeah. That's I'm happy for the top 3, but that would have been my vote.
I was very upset to not see the Donut Pantry in Lakewood be in the top 3 because those are the best. Like if you're talking classic donuts, like that is a donut shop that you would see in a movie, like, and all of their donuts are good. I always get them when we do like Brown's tailgates and stuff, and it's like everyone's like, "Where did you get these donuts?" Like it's just a glazed donut, but it's so good.
Well, that's the funny part too. I mean, there's so many of them. Like you say, we were joking about bougie donuts.
Yeah.
And there, sometimes they have a whole second story of stuff on,
Yeah.
Yes.
on top of them, which is wonderful. But sometimes that pure, simple, yeast raised glazed donut is just perfection. And when I think about something like that takes me back to like Becker's Donuts. I grew up on the West Side, and Becker's were in the top 20. They were one of the shops that fans came out and really rallied for and supported. But I remember those from when I was a kid, and rolling down on the RTA bus to around 220 and Lorraine and grabbing those. They were right next door to pharmacy, and so that was just one of those things where like you get one after you went to visit your doctor if you had a cold.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
is
like,
an apple fritter a donut?
Technically, yes, but I think some people would say no. I mean, we could have another whole podcast about that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same question actually, Alex. Like, what is a donut technically? Because I feel like there's like a lot of like gray areas around like what a donut is. Obviously, it's not just a circle. It's not like, maybe it's just like, is there a particular like formula that makes a donut as opposed to another type of pastry?
That's actually a good question because I feel like too, like, I mean, I go to like a lot of Puerto Rican bakeries and stuff like that, and they always have like, it basically is a donut, but they call it like, it's always something else or whatever, like fried dough. It probably has to be sweet, or does it?
Yeah, it does it because we're like putting bacon on these things now. Like we're loading them with like savory flavors.
In fact, they're the donut shops that finished in the top 3. One of them has got savory donuts too. So
What kind?
I knew you were going to ask. I can't recall what the flavor was.
But not just like bacon and chocolate, like a savory.
No,
like
it was definitely a savory
interesting.
one.
So who knows what a donut has to be?
I mean, at that point, aren't we just dealing with bagels? Like, am I crazy? Like, if we're taking
Well, a bagel
sweetness,
is boiled, and then it's baked.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's the difference. Is a bagel is boiled and a donut is fried.
Okay. All donuts are fried?
Not all donuts are fried.
Yeah.
Some of them
Really?
are baked.
Like which kinds?
There are, I forget which varieties there are that are the baked ones. Some of the cake donuts are baked.
Oh. Interesting. So who even knows what a donut is?
No, listen. If we can't define it, then donuts just don't exist at this point. Like, I think that's just.
Well,
like
how do
what
you?
we're coming
What about
to.
how do you spell donut? No, seriously, how do you spell donut?
You go first.
No, you go first.
I think the joke in the newsroom was that a lot of people are spelling it D-O-N-U-T now because it's less letters, which means there's less money to spend on the
Marketing,
sign.
yeah.
It's all marketing.
It's been so long since I've been in college.
You
But I
work
remember.
for a media company.
I know, Alex. Okay, but I just remember there being like some like topic of discussion that was like, is it the brand name like that's actually not official or like in AP style? But that's a whole nother
No, a
conversation.
donut. It should be donut, like DOUGHNUT.
Well, that's not how we spell it on cleveland.com. So I don't know. I'm confused.
Well, I guess yeah. When you were doing that, do all the places spell it differently?
Every place spells it
Oh
differently.
my god, that's
Yeah.
so annoying.
Well, sure. I mean, and that's definitely going to be a problem. One thing I do want to sort of work in here as a part of the conversation with Third Place Jack Frost down the road, the Aviator Pub actually has a Jack Frost glazed donut cheeseburger. It's a smash burger between parts of that glazed donut.
I haven't been there yet. The new place.
I don't know. I don't think donuts should be mixed with burgers. Like
That's
that
good.
That
That
sounds
sounds
crazy.
good.
That sounds like
That means more for me.
it's too much.
You got to
know?
live a little.
It's just too much. It's just cheese and greasy patties with. I don't know. I'm sure it's delicious. Not gonna lie, but I don't think you should do that. That doesn't sound like it should be legal. Yes. Where are the Republicans? Let's legalize.
Yeah,
Legalize.
they got problems with
Legalize
the
donuts and
edibles.
burgers.
It's a hibernation special. Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that sounds like
No.
a good nap.
No, I'm sure it's gonna be really great.
No, but I haven't been to that Aviator because that's newer. What was it before the bomber, 100 bomb place or something? It's by the airport. I don't know what it was, like the bomb squad place or whatever. But it looks like it's really a cool event space now. Did anyone try to vote for like Dunkin' Donuts?
No, we were pretty clear when we, set out to have people vote that we wanted sort of mom and pop, local, those were the focus
Yeah.
for this particular endeavor.
Well, that sucks for Krispy Kreme's glazed donuts because man,
They are good.
they are good. I'm sorry.
But they have to be hot.
Yeah, that's true.
Or, like they're not I feel like it's more of a ritual. Like I eat a Krispy Kreme donut.
There's something about them, like if you don't eat them right when they're hot, they just aren't the same. It's kind of like if you let Taco Bell sit for a couple of hours.
Oh.
It's just not. And see, this is how we bring the whole conversation full circle. We started off with conversations about legalization, and now we're talking about donuts and
The Taco
Bell.
Yeah,
and-
they kind of go hand in hand.
yeah, I think so.
Well, that would be a marijuana infused donut shop. That could be on the next round.
There you
know?
go. Someone, you have a business model just presented for you.
Just take my
hand it on a
ideas.
platter. Okay.
Take them.
Yes, a dozen of millions of dollars. Just
A dozen of millions of dollars.
a dozen of millions of dollars.
we do math.
Yeah.
It's hard.
All right, so I guess that's all we have to say about donuts. Before we wrap it up and we get out of here, Alex, have you eaten or drinking anything cool around Cleveland lately?
Yes, with you actually. Josh and I went this week to the InterContinental Hotel in Cleveland on Carnegie Avenue, and they have this new winter chalet experience going through February, and it was awesome. Like it was like we did the fondue pots, we grilled our own lamb chops and with the raclette cheese and everything. It was really awesome, and it was very fun to watch Josh learn how to use a fondue pot.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm like, I'm
He
just
had
taking the
this thing-
sticks. I'm trying to pour the
Yeah, like, you
the
know, you take
cheese.
this stick, you dip the bread, and then you dip it in the pot. Josh was taking the stick and trying to spoon the cheese out of the pot.
I'm like, come on, this is not efficient. I'm like,
But-
I don't get it. What?
If you're like him, they'll help you there. They definitely were helping us use a little raclette table and stuff. Like I want one of those for my house. They have really cute igloos. They had so many cute like drinks, festive drinks and stuff. It was awesome.
It was a really unique dining experience, one that I haven't really had. It feels like fine dining, but like in another world, in another like very wintry world.
I know, it's après-ski, like you're in the Alps.
You're in the Alps, like literally in the mountains, like in a wooden cabin, but like in a hotel.
Yeah.
And it just had a lot of great, and the people really kind of made it. Like
Yeah.
the serving people, they were able to like really sort of talk you through the experience and make you like really understand like what's going on, what you're eating, and how it relates to the Alps. And
Yeah, because the whole menu is kind of French and German themed. It's very hearty, like local sausages, lots of cheese, lots of strudels and stuff.
and the cocktails were so delicious.
They were very delicious. Yeah, and it was a really awesome experience. And the cool thing about that is it is going through February, so it's a great Valentine's Day plan. I know Josh was already making his plans
Yes.
before he even left. So yeah, that would be an awesome thing to do this winter if you're looking for something fun that we enjoy doing together. So
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So thanks so much for listening to the Dine Drink CLE podcast. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at DineDrinkCLE and sign up for the at DineDrinkCLE newsletter at cleveland.com/newsletters. Thanks.
Thanks. Goodbye.